Welcome to the Podunk Polymath, a podcast dedicated to the sentiments of a secular, sarcastic, screwed-up Southern SJW and skeptic. I'm your host, Chris. Come on in. Welcome to episode 2 of the TPPP podcast. Of course, I'm Chris. I wanted to give a shout-out to Mary. She was kind enough to leave nice words about my first episode with my interview with Jeannie, and I was proves to Jeannie that she's not a bad interview subject after all, even though I don't really think she was. She was trying to fish for compliments, but that's just my opinion. So thanks, Mary, for that. I also wanted to discuss a couple of things before the palaver. I put up a post on Facebook about the whole thing with Ellen having the pic with Usain Bolt and on his back running errands or whatever. And of course she didn't mean it to be racist or anything like that, I'm sure. And I posted something about it which I thought was fairly, I don't know, maybe it was a little bit sharp, maybe controversial, but I thought it was fairly innocuous. Let me read it to you real quick and you can say what you think. To be clear, I don't think Ellen meant to be racist or offensive when she posted that picture. I think she didn't even really think about it. That's the problem, however. I don't think people, especially white people, think about the impact these sorts of representations have on blacks. And whether we'd like to admit it or not, that's white privilege. Now, maybe the white privilege part set people off. Maybe, I don't know. But I got a little blowback on that, and it devolved into a bit of an argument. And I was a little petty, and I called this person a bully, and I let emotion overwhelm my objectivity, and that's a weakness on my part. I can be sensitive about things which I am passionate about, I will admit that. But I will not apologize for my position which I stand by. My only point was to say that while she may not have intended it for it to be offensive or anything, some people took it that way. That's not to say that a simple apology is all that's necessary, especially for a public figure like that. I would have thought that if she realized the history, and there's a history, the background of it is there's history of black people being ridden as beasts of burden back in the day, in slavery days. And some people took offense to that, and a simple apology would have been okay instead of getting immediately defensive about it, which is what I seem to come across on a lot of these posts that have been coming across my wall. People are more offended about the fact that other people think it's offensive, rather than people saying I'm offended in the first place by the picture, which I find strange and interesting. But anyway, I got into a little kerfuffle on my page. This other person, who's a friend, I like to think of, but I thought this person was a little harsher than was necessary. Again, I didn't think this was a bad point to be made. All I was trying to say was, like I said, people taking offense at something. One person is not in a position to tell someone else what is or is not offensive. Just because you don't think it's offensive doesn't mean somebody else might not think it's offensive. And so just apologize and move on. You don't know that person. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what their situation is. And I apologize for being a bit sensitive, and this is Facebook, and I know that, and I should have just let it roll off my back, but sometimes I get a little irritated about things, I guess, that I think are important. That's just me. Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about was this whole kerfuffle, this horror, I don't know what you would call it. A friend of mine, well, I like to think, I hope that they think I'm a friend, Ari Stillman, and of course Kelly Wright, kind of insulted for no reason on somebody's page. I don't know what they consider themselves now other than a massive douche canoe, but they were a pretty big person in the atheist movement, I guess. I don't know. I think they're in the atheist asshole movement with Thunder Ass and, the mighty, amazing asshole, whatever the fuck. Anyway, somebody, especially in Ari's case, somebody took a picture, a phone screenshot of a post they made that was friends only, and posted it, gave it to this person, I guess, and they posted it on their page, which is a public page. And this person's not friends with Ari, so there must have been a mole who took the picture, the screenshot, and then gave it to this other person. So I'm not going to give any more publicity to this fuckwad. So anyway, the point is, they put this picture up and for ridicule and said, of course, they call them PSJWs, poser, pseudo SJWs, I guess was so clever. I don't know. Anyway, and mocked them mercilessly. They preemptively blocked Ari so they couldn't say anything about the comment or explain what they meant by it or anything like that. And the comment itself, I'm not going to reiterate it here because it's a private thing and I'm not going to put it in a public forum, but to my mind, it was friends only. It was fairly innocuous, I thought, but it wasn't. I mean, I guess it could be perceived as being over the top by some people, but it was a friends only post. It was they were upset by something that had happened to them that they perceived as harmful, and apparently the other people that saw it on the other page, which was put there, shouldn't have been because somebody took a screenshot of it and put it in a public place. They thought it was just the most horrible thing in the universe, that Ari was horrible, that they were violent, or whatever, and that this is an example of how oversensitive PSJWs are. And then there was a picture put up of Callie, which I'm not even going to... It was pretty offensive, and it was uncalled for. All I want to say, really, about this situation is this. You can say whatever you want about anybody, of course. It's free speech, free country, whatever. And I might be accused of perpetrating it by even mentioning it, I guess. I don't know. But I'm not mentioning the person who did his name. So, because they don't, like I say, don't deserve more publicity. I will say, though, that if you attack people for no fucking reason, that I can perceive anyway, that have not even said anything. One is not even a friend with you on Facebook, and the other one hasn't said much of anything to you at all, and use them, put it on your page so they, I don't know, for a mock fest, a ridicule fest, I don't know. You can just kind of go fuck yourself. I don't understand what you get out of that. I'm not sure what your motivations are other than just being an asshole. And I'm going to call that shit out every day of the week. Because while there are tempests in the teapot that have happened, of course, in this movement from time to time, when you just come out and just talk shit about somebody for no reason, and hurt, and legitimately people that are good people and try to do positive things, and just call them out and be shitty to them for no particular reason, you're just a dick. You're a douchepickle, you're a fuckwit, whatever you want to say. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter, and I'm sorry that it happened to Ari, especially because they didn't deserve it. And of course, Callie, she didn't either. So anyway, that's my little mini rant for the pre-ramble here. We're going to go ahead and move on to the palaver.
What's something I could do with a very sexy lady friend of mine that people would find provocative, interesting, and entertaining enough to tune in week after week? Oh, I know. A podcast. If you'd like to hear me and Kate be provocative and thought-provoking week after week, join us on the Unbuckling the Bible Belt podcast. We'd love for you to be part of our audiological three-way.
Hi, this is Dan,
Ryan,
and Matt
with the Godless Revolution podcast. We've had a lot of great guests on this show,
such as Russell Glasser, Dan Harrow, Brian Fields, David Silverman, Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, and Joey Kirkman, whom we love a lot.
We've also had a lot of really cool local guests, and we're a podcast that likes to fight for the separation of church and state and against anti-skepticism of all kinds.
You should give us a listen, because if you don't, you're going to be really sad.
Make your ears happy. Listen to the Godless Revolution podcast.
Welcome to another iteration of the Palaver here on the Podunk Polymath podcast. I'll get it right one of these days. It's only episode 2, so I have a ways to go. Anyway, this week I have with me a couple of people I really enjoy listening to on their podcast. They're funny, insightful, and just so witty. So I hope you'll join me in welcoming the Mandarite and misbehaving, the ladies from Promoting Secular Feminism. How y'all doing?
Good. We're really great. How are you?
Caffeine fueled.
Oh, I'm just dandy. I am actually super pumped that y'all decided to come on because I have been listening to your show.
I'm doing my chair dance.
This is an audio thing, right? You know that.
Yeah, I could describe it for you.
I'm just
There are jerking motions at the joints. That's about the gist of it.
Yeah.
And this is part of the I like your show because you inject comedy with serious subjects. You kind of interlace them. And I also enjoy Miss Wright's whiskey-fueled rants. And
Whiskey-fueled feminist digressions.
I
Those
feel
are
like
my specialty.
we're going to become infamous for whiskey-fueled digressions.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't.
I'm good with that. I'll take that one. Let's take my claim.
Good. Now, I wanted to have you on mostly because after
We have vaginas.
Well, no.
We're feminists with vaginas.
Feminists.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
Yeah. That.
I guess.
Okay.
Because I don't want to make it sound like it's just because you're women, because then, it might sound sexist or something. No, it's because you have a cool podcast that is promoting secular feminism. And this podcast that I just started is supposed to be kind of social justice oriented. So.
Oh, puppies.
Oh, no. Oh, Ralphie.
Social justice puppies.
Social
Get
justice.
it right.
Yes, with capes and little eye mask.
Well,
Are they wiener dogs? Because that would be really cool.
No, it's a Chihuahua.
I think it still have a costume.
Yeah, a cape. That'd be fun. I mean, not quite as good, but okay.
This is with y'all. I'm okay with Ralphie barking his head off because this is like comfortable. It's kind of like y'all just sitting around having a conversation, so it's all good.
We're just right there in your living room.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, when I started,
And we talk about things like, having to tinkle.
yeah,
Yes,
okay,
we do.
What the hell do y'all talk about? Let's just go ahead and get that out in the open. What is the basis of your show other than tinkling and whiskey and?
Okay, so seriously, what's our podcast about? Okay, so we have a few segments.
For those listening at home, this is very important.
It is. It's don't say it's important, then I can't be important. I have a segment called Feminism 101, and what I try to do with that segment is give people information about feminism. There are a lot of misconceptions out there about a lot of straw woman versions of feminism, and those really.
Sorry.
I feel like if people only had more information, like this is my very naive hope in life. Like if I could just provide a little more information, people are just going to get it and be like, oh yeah, that's feminism, great. Like I'm really good with that. So that's my naive hope and mission in life, is just to provide a little more information so that you can see some context about feminism and what feminism is. And so that's one part of our podcast. Miss B talks.
And I have learned a lot from Feminism 101, and I'm on the podcast.
I've learned a lot composing the segments. And Miss B has a segment called Titillating Topics.
Yes, I talk a lot about sexuality, sex education, sex positivity, body positivity.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, sometimes. I also, recently did a segment on asexuality, which just a lot of people don't talk about. And, sexual identities, gender identity, that kind of thing.
But you gave me my new favorite vocabulary word.
Which was what?
Oh, you know what it is. Osmolality.
Oh, osmolality. We were talking about the osmolality of lube.
Lubrication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough word.
It's a great word.
If you've been drinking a lot, you should not say osmolality.
I tend to, check it out, by rubbing it on my
Osmosis? Is that where the root word?
Yeah, it's related to
Yeah.
osmosis. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess
So
how
the
it
idea is how
goes in your skin, absorbs your skin.
how something might get absorbed into your skin. Yeah. So you want something that's kind of close to the osmolality of your skin versus something that is has such a high osmolality that it's never ever going to absorb, because then it can do things like harbor germs, especially for a woman. That can be a
Nobody
problem.
wants germy lube. That's disgusting.
I'm pretty sure, no. Unless there's a fetish for that. There's a fetish for every damn thing nowadays, so there's no telling. And the asexuality segment you did, I actually shared a post a YouTube movie I saw about asexuality on y'all's wall or whatever.
Yeah, and I actually really want to watch that because I did not know nearly enough about asexuality when I started researching for that segment, and I intend to learn a lot more because there's just so much to learn there. I mean, I was going from nothing.
I think you also kindly memed my whiskey indigestion and sent me a photo. I appreciated that. Thank you.
See, that's what we're going to be known for, not feminism,
whiskey
not secularism.
We tried.
Not Princess Sparkle
Yeah,
farts.
but see, at the end of all of that great, wonderful, informative bit, which we never digress in, and we are always very serious.
We also do It's Not News.
Yeah, we do
sometimes.
that sometimes. And because the point of that segment is that there's always sort of feminist news, but it's the same old shit about, the way in which women are represented often.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then we have a comedy sketch.
Yeah. Oh, and we do interviews sometimes too. But at the end of every episode, we usually have a comedy sketch that usually has some sort of moral about feminism or secularism or both.
I quite enjoy that. Those are pretty funny, generally. I like how y'all
I'm glad you do.
try to work in the serious stuff along with the fun. The interweaving,
Yeah. They're all written by Mr. Haven, so you can blame him for the content.
I didn't do it. I think I'm the one that gets blamed for the content of the sketches, and it's not me.
I know, it's funny, because there's a dude writing all of those.
Yeah.
So how did y'all get together, start the podcast?
Well, I tend to tell the story differently than Miss B tells.
You tell your part, and I'll tell my part.
Okay, here's my part. I was at dinner. We went out to do a little activism, and we went out to dinner afterward as our local humanist group. And Miss B wanted to do a podcast for a very long time because she really missed Godless Bitches and really felt like there was a gap in the podcasting community. And I was the other vagina at the table.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, wouldn't you really love to do a podcast? I miss Godless Bitches, and it could have a farting unicorn in it. And I was like, oh yeah? And that oh yeah was taken as consent. And there was a podcast.
I love how your version of the story makes it sound like you were dragged kicking and screaming in here and that you never wanted to do it ever.
I almost had an existential crisis at the very beginning of the first episode, but I've warmed up to it.
I can tell. You haven't left kicking and screaming yet.
No.
So
I'm still here.
That's good. No, yeah. Much of my motivation was just that I missed Godless Bitches because I liked listening to them while I played video games and stuff. And I just really loved their perspective on news, and I wanted to hear more, and they stopped recording. So I was really sad. And I even asked them about it at the last ReasonCon because I was really upset that they weren't recording anymore. And they were like, yeah, I don't think we'll probably do another podcast. And I was like, what am I going to do? This is a problem. So then eventually Mr. Haven was like, you could just do your own podcast. And I was like, no way. And then
Brilliant.
right about our last episode before our 1-year anniversary of podcasting, we had Tracy Harris on for our first live show. And that was just kind of a really nice full circle of begging her to keep doing Godless Bitches all the way to starting our own podcast to having her on our podcast as a guest.
It was definitely a moment.
Really cool. I was very happy.
Well, first of all, I didn't know y'all were at ReasonCon.
Yeah, I organize ReasonCon. I am the right-hand person for ReasonCon.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I get the speakers and stuff.
Oh.
And yeah.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
We're in the same town as ReasonCon. This is where we exist
literally
as people in
the
real
vice
life.
president of Reason NC events.
Oh, wow.
That's my title.
So I owe you an apology then, I guess, sort of.
No, let's move on. let's just move right on.
I'm planning next year's ReasonCon, or at least trying to, slowly.
Okay. Well, I'll be there next year, and I'll be better. So anyway, and I look forward to seeing y'all and everybody else. Ari and Callie are supposed to come, and a bunch of other people.
I know, it's going to be amazing.
I was there. There are pictures of me. I have proof. I have evidence.
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh, yeah, you drove some people. I forgot about that part.
I did.
That was cool.
Yeah, I met David Fitzgerald and Data Boy. That was interesting. I drove them
They were
back and
pretty
forth to the
cool.
airport. Well, I wasn't the one driving. I was the passenger. I was the entertainment.
Yeah.
So,
Tour guide.
yeah, but that was fun.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that you were that involved in it, and so that's good to hear. And I'm glad they're doing it again next year, because I know they last year, because of Reason Rally, or this year I should say, I guess, because of Reason Rally, they decided to not do it. Which I'm
I think it's because, I don't know, like maybe we shouldn't actually tell everyone so they would come and not realize that, feminists have invaded atheism to the point of ReasonCon. For real.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
If they knew anything about ReasonCon's, organization, I mean, I was pretty much, watching everything like a hawk last year as far as the speakers and things, because I was going, oh no, is everything okay? What's going to happen? I hope nobody sleeps in accidentally, kind of things.
Well, it seemed to go off pretty well.
That's what I was
You're very
concerned
anxious.
about. I was like, oh no, somebody's going to
no.
take a nap and one of these speakers are going to be late.
Well, I'm going to bring the best whiskey this year, so it's a competition.
I'm going to be concerned about the level of drunkenness of Demanda Wright next year.
I'm really good at public intoxication.
I think that we should hire a monitor.
I'm not good. No. I'm not so good at podcasting intoxication. That is a little problematic. But public intoxication, I'm okay with.
There might be
with
podcasting.
that.
We might podcast.
I thought about it.
Seriously?
Yeah, we might.
I thought
How?
about that. I thought I heard that maybe they were going to try to set up some sort of area where people could podcast or something. I don't know if that's still a thing or not.
They're
You would know.
very much still in the early stages, but there may be sort of like a featured podcast recording time
would
thing.
I be featured?
Well, I don't know. It
Yeah?
depends
I
on what
know
we plan
you.
the rest of this
You
weekend.
can feature me.
You know what?
Feature
I might
me, Miss B. Feature me.
because I'm the vice president. I can do
That
that.
sounded really dirty, didn't it? Okay, let's move on. What's next?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Favoritism. They're going to call it favoritism.
Okay.
Like,
She's featuring me.
Okay.
digressions.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
We're ruining your What episode is this, 2?
2.
Oh no. We've
And
ruined it already.
Actually,
It's ruined.
first episode.
Might as well just pack it up now.
The first episode I talked about body positivity, which is interesting. If
Awesome.
kind of a segue there, and also you had talked about on a recent episode. I think it was the one before the anniversary one about what was it? Getting your tubes tied and you can't do it because, or
Tubal ligations, yes.
Yeah.
sorry, tubal ligations.
I'm probably going to do a lot more about that because I can't believe how many people have had so much trouble accessing those sorts of procedures because of their age
Yeah, it's pretty infuriating when you think about it.
or
And
because of non-medical reasons, for that matter.
And even though I experienced it, I don't think at the time I was infuriated enough about it. So in retrospect, I'm a little more infuriated. I'm getting madder. Like the older I get, the more of an angry feminist I become.
I
Like I should
post
have been
about
a
it.
lot more upset about that.
I saw a post about it today on Facebook that was completely unrelated to me, asking people about their stories about this, and I was like, "Holy shit! There goes another one."
It's my fucking body. I should be able to decide at what moment, I choose never to reproduce again.
Just
one
because
would
of
think.
that, I'm gonna get a tattoo that says "It's my fucking body. It's my fucking choice." Thank
There you go. The mic drop.
That would be amazing.
I don't even. Okay, what was I even talking about?
This is the response
you
we
have-
often get from people. It's like, just cover your face. I can't
No,
believe
I
this is
had.
happening.
No, it's great. It's fine. I'm losing track. No, I had posted. It was weird because I had posted. I put up a post about that because I was somebody had brought it up and I got really pissed about it. And I mentioned it and we had a conversation on my Facebook thing, and then I saw y'all asking about it, people who had been through it or whatever, and then I told Kate Ashcraft about it, or actually I tagged her in the post or whatever, and y'all.
And then she's who we had on the episode about it.
And
that was great.
She of course is on my old podcast, Unbuckling the Bible Belt, and I thought she gave a really good summary of what the kind of bullshit you have to go through. I mean, it's
absolutely.
It's just mind-boggling.
I mean, and her specifically, like really intensely for a long time, having to experience that.
Yeah, I just don't. Like I said in my post, and like I've said before, I just don't understand. It's like this paternalistic bullshit. Like, basically, women are only good for like pumping out babies and cleaning houses. I mean, that's all. I mean, basically, that's what it comes down to. You know, it's just ingrained in so much in our culture that I don't think people really think about it. You know.
Yeah, I think women are, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but this is my perception. So I'm going to stick with it for a little while anyway until someone dissuades me of this idea. But I really feel like women are so associated with their reproductive capabilities, right, that to separate a woman from that capacity is an extreme measure, right? So when I request that I've decided I don't want to reproduce. And so when I request to be separated from that capacity, that is seen as some kind of very extreme and grand measure because I should be associated with that function of my body in some way, more so than like other functions, I suppose.
Yeah. And in wanting to put together an ongoing series about this particular subject, I really want to explore the things that people use as excuses for these denials of these procedures so that we can eliminate the possibilities of things like the legal ramifications of
and I've never
people
gotten a
who
good
regret
answer
these
to that.
procedures and stuff. I mean, all kinds of problems that people use as excuses for like doctors denying these procedures for non-medical reasons.
I've been told in other women that I know that we just sort of get a conversation like, well, I'm not going to do it. And I mean, you can ask around, but you're probably not going to find another doctor to do it either. Like there's just too much sort of legal risk involved in the procedure. And to me, that reads as if I'm not sure, or I haven't, I might change my mind later. And that's boils down to the same old stereotype that I'm not making a rational decision about my own body, that it's so tied up in, I guess it is tied up in the emotions of like motherhood and all of that. And they think that later I'm going to have a lot of regret.
Yeah.
And that I'll sue their pants off or something. I don't know. You know what? That brings into an interesting story. Can I tell an interesting story? Maybe it's not really interesting.
This is your podcast. Okay. You can say yes or no.
you can tell me no.
Go on.
Okay. So I visited Salt Lake City, Utah, a few weeks ago. And I was walking out of the airport. And
this is where Mormons come from, in case you don't know that, listeners.
That's an important part of the story. And my cab driver happened to be a Mormon, but a Mormon from Yorkshire, England, who had moved to Salt Lake City because his children went to BYU. That's a lot of extra information. Anyway, I'm in the car with the Mormon cab driver. And the cab driver starts talking. We're having just, making pleasantries about the weather. And isn't the scenery beautiful? And he starts talking about his family and, all of his grandchildren, and aren't they wonderful? And so then he starts, he wants me to reciprocate, and I don't really have any grandchildren. And so I start talking about my cats, which he thinks is a little odd. And then he said, well, what about your children? Like, I want to know about your children, not your cats. And I was like, well, I don't have any. Well, I thought the reason you were here was to start a new job. Like, were you not like a housewife before? I'm like, yeah, because I wouldn't have been in school or anything. Like, that's, why I wasn't working. But I said, no, I wasn't a housewife. Well, okay, so you don't have children now, but you're going to have children, right? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm not. In fact, I'm certain I'm not going to have children. Oh, and that sent him, like, he did not know how to process that. So he stuttered a bit. And he said that, well, I will tell you that grandchildren are the best thing in life ever, and you are going to regret, and he said those words, you will regret your decision not to have children. And the cab ride lasted 15 minutes of awkward silence after that.
I
the
like
end
how
of the story.
grandchildren are the best, but children are meh.
I guess so.
You have to deal with children to get to the grandchildren.
And I'm sure his grandchildren are like the most fabulous example of grandchildren ever. Still yet, that does not persuade me to procreate.
Well, he's never met your cats, has he?
No.
But it's just the fucking gall to even say shit like that to begin with. You know, it's like
I know.
The assumptions that I was a housewife before, and that's why. I don't know. I'm still processing that.
Yeah,
I'm emotional about it.
I'm sorry.
It really. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry someone assumed that you're a breeder.
No, it's very offensive.
I mean, you laugh and stuff, but I mean, it really is kind of fucked up how pervasive it is in our culture.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's a lot of people's responses
I did
to
sort
like
of put on my
homosexuality.
armor. Yeah,
too,
I did put
like,
on my
what about
armor
grandchildren?
when I went to Salt Lake City. I was expecting a little more of it there, maybe than other places. So.
If you'd been like, I'm an atheist feminist who's never going to have children, what do you think about that?
I'm on a podcast called Promoting Secular Feminism.
Would have stopped talking.
Well,
I was afraid I wouldn't get to the hotel at that point. Like, I really needed that cab ride.
People like, you're walking.
They did have Uber, though. I should have just said, fuck it, I'm on a podcast. Get an Uber.
gonna play Uber.
We had great experiences with Uber at Reason Rally. It was great.
I Ubered all the time in Atlanta. Is Uber a bad thing now? Like, is Uber very passe? I wouldn't know. I'm old.
I took it once because my mom forgot what day it was. So she was supposed to pick me up at the airport, and I had to call Uber.
We don't have it in this town, though.
No.
It's not allowed because of the cab drivers.
I used Uber when I lived in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So y'all live obviously in the South, and it's
Hickory.
Yeah,
We live in Hickory.
Hickory. What's his name?
Yeah.
John Reap, the comedian guy. Have you heard of him? He's from Hickory, North Carolina. And
Is he really? Oh yeah, he is. I forgot about that.
he did. He did a bit. I saw him live here, and he did a bit. He called Hickory. He did.
Yeah.
Hickory. It was anyway. So are things a little
Sounds
more?
like my cousin.
Well, that's
Family.
Do y'all have? I would think y'all have a harder time with this sort of thing since you're in the South, and of course, traditional Christianity is hella patriarchal. And do y'all find it's a little more difficult to be openly feminist, I guess, where y'all are?
I think so much of the social organization in our community happens around the church. I mean, that's what happens in suburbia. There aren't sort of extra activities or people converging over other common interests. It's around the church. The church is sort of the arbiter of social function.
Even like 4th of July
Right.
stuff is church-based.
Right.
Like, people get together because their church is having a picnic, and then, like, they go to fireworks somewhere else.
And I do, when I'm in the South, which I am all the time, I am more cognizant when I'm meeting people, whether or not, like, that's probably not the way I'm going to introduce myself. I don't say, hello, I'm a secular feminist. Will you be my friend? That usually doesn't work.
Unless you're at ReasonCon, in which case it's great.
Yeah, at ReasonCon I do that.
Yeah. That's part of the reason we have it here, just because...
I usually test the
Hickory.
waters a bit. I talk about whiskey. Whiskey is usually my in. Like, I'll talk about whiskey first. And then, like, based on how much they imbibe whiskey, then, like, I drop in the secular feminism after that.
Yeah. You're much more, like, subtle than I am.
Oh, really?
Subtlety isn't your strong suit, but I
No.
appreciate that about you.
It is not.
So,
And,
subtlety's overrated.
yeah, it can be. But in mixed company, it can be helpful.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know. Like, I really do. Like, I don't like a lot of people. So when I'm when I'm making friends, like, I really am investing in that. I want to make friends, So I take it a little easier at first.
Yeah. I'm just nice to everybody
I'm not. Yeah.
until they're not
Everybody.
nice. And then when they're not nice, I'm like, That's not nice.
That's not nice.
I have a difficult time with people in person. I'm a socially awkward, just putting it mildly. That's why I have an easier time meeting people on Facebook. So, but that's just me.
I'm someone with social anxiety who doesn't social media. I'm a very introverted individual.
Only sometimes.
Well, I'm only introverted sometimes, or only awkward sometimes. I'm awkward all the time.
You're only on social media sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I ghost people's accounts just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But that's it. You'll never know. Don't try.
Well, usually if somebody's talking about feminist theory on Mr. Wright's account, I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Miss B, like, you're so blowing up this whole incognito thing I had going on.
Yeah. You only ever talk to me about it, though, so...
That was not public information.
Well, I can cut it out if necessary. I don't want you...
It'd be okay.
Did you see that eye roll? I saw it from over here, and I wasn't even looking.
It hurt. Like, my eyes followed it, and then all it's like it's stuck up there. And I have this expression. It's painful. Go ahead. I'm working on it.
So y'all just celebrated your 1 year anniversary.
Yes.
Happy birthday to me.
I'm just amazed that two
And
women
Miss
could do
B.
anything together and not kill each other.
You know women.
Like women.
Oh, yeah, like women are. I bet you
Yeah.
are both on your periods at the same time, aren't you?
I am, now that you mention it, I'm cramping a bit, but
Yeah.
that's extra information.
I'm not, so, we
Nope,
haven't
not at
synced
the same
up.
time. There's your
Myth.
answer.
Myth busted.
In reality, didn't happen.
I think maybe that's a good segment y'all should do, myth busting, like about silly shit that people think about women. Well, guys think about women, obviously.
We kind of did that one
just
when we
did
were
that.
recording tonight, actually. It was getting
But
real
thanks.
with Demanda Wright.
Yeah, I felt like for a year I sort of ranted about one thing. So this Feminism 101
Peter
segment
Boghossian.
was, yeah. Peter, no. What's his name, Miss B?
Peter's going, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this time I was just very practical. Here are the things, like here's how I see the world. Here is the way I think women are viewed in our society. And here are like 5 or 6 things I think we need to focus on. The end, oh, I got so real. It was good.
Yep. Ranting happened.
Well, ranting does happen on your show.
No, you ranted this time. You were the ranter, not
I
me.
did rant about the Olympics.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I won't go into that since that's part of your show, so I bet it was very interesting, and I'm sure everybody will look forward to hearing about it.
You can find us on promotingsecularfeminism.com.
Can't do it right now. It's not time yet.
Oh, sorry.
It's a good thing I laughed so much that you had no idea what she said at all.
Not yet time.
Oh, I thought that was my cue. Sorry.
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, headphone users.
It's a very, it's a guffaw. It's not a cackle. You
Yeah.
guffaw.
Yes, I do.
But go ahead.
Guffaw. That's a good word.
Ugh, Lord, y'all are killing me. Okay. I'm sorry.
We often get that reaction.
Yeah.
No, you just your digressions are contagious. I just forgot what the fuck I was going to say.
You mean interesting and informative and entertaining. I mean, that's what you meant to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm old, and I have problems with me. I have brain
See,
fart.
this is why we usually have more than just the two of us, because then there's like one of us is in a really bad mood all the time. So like
Don't talk about me like that.
it switches between us though. Like every episode, one of us is like, "Ugh, I hate you guys.
Fuck life.
You should. We're moving on. Come on, focus
On task.
Yeah.
And today, neither one of us, like, we're both
Nope,
pretty chipper.
not at all.
And I think our episode lasted sort of like into Smalley territory. We're going to have to edit some of it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dog
I'm the
went to bed.
editor.
4 hours.
I'm sorry, me.
I'm sorry, you.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so y'all only do it every 2 weeks. Is there a reason
Yes.
for that?
No, I do it more than that.
What? Oh, okay. Talking about the podcast.
TMI. Signed, Demanda.
No, I couldn't. That was an awful pun.
We
do,
initially tried to do podcast once a week, and
but we're women and we don't have that much stamina.
oh come on, That is obviously the reason. No, it was when we first started, I was just recovering from a rather intensive spine surgery. And so I had some time off from work because I was still recovering, and I couldn't move my neck very much when we first started. But Demanda was also, I think, working part-time at the time, sort of. And then I went back to work full-time and realized that editing a podcast every week and working full-time on top of, like, everything else I was doing was a lot. Because I'm also the secretary of our local humanist group, and
she has a lot going on. Basically, she does the podcast, she does the social media, she does all of the editing, and, you know, of course, she's, like, hosting the damn thing, and I show up and drink whiskey and, talk about random things.
So you're like the Tom of the podcast or whatever.
Yes, whatever that means.
Yes, cognitive dissonance, the podcast. Oh, our arch nemesis.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are our
No,
arch
I really
nemesis.
like that podcast.
Yeah.
I just want to be their arch nemesis because it sounds really cool, and
also because they
won't mention our
butt.
Yeah, they won't mention our names.
Yeah. We bring that up at every opportunity possible.
We did get a little thing like where they talked about us on the podcast, but we were the podcast that they wouldn't mention, like just so everyone knows that was us.
Yes.
You're so cool.
Yeah.
Because
Mr. Wright encouraged us to make an incest joke about them.
Yeah, we
because
made
they
an
grabbed
incest
his
joke
butt at ReasonCon.
Awesome.
But okay, that has I don't need to tell you the context for that. That's enough.
Just leave that.
Let's just say the
There was
experience
butt
was
grabbing,
enjoyed by all.
and I appreciated it. But okay, no non-consensual butt grabbing at ReasonCon 3.
Okay.
Correct.
R3.
A PSA.
This will be in our terms
by
and conditions.
PSF.
Yeah.
Even though the last one may have been enjoyed.
The details have not completely been worked out because I've been keeping track of it just to see it. Apparently, y'all are behind on shit, so.
It's her fault.
No.
It's not my fault. I had to wait
No, I didn't. I
until
wasn't serious.
school starts
I
to find
wasn't
out if
serious.
some people are busy or not. So,
Okay.
No, but.
Are you expecting an update now, or
No.
it's super secret?
Is it super secret, really?
No, I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying it's super secret, so it sounds like I
makes it
do.
sound-
it's
bit more
only
interesting.
super secret because the organizers haven't talked about it yet, which
No.
they're going to do this
I think I'm going
weekend.
to find out at a board meeting
Probably.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Oh,
going to find
no.
out.
Not that board meeting, because we're talking about it after that.
Fuck you people.
I'm not-
I'm on the board.
I'm not getting up before then to talk to God at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Do you see what happens? They don't tell me shit on purpose. And I go to all the meetings just to find stuff out.
It's only because God is so busy and won't talk to me. Oh.
I don't know what happened to this, but this is not about feminism.
Okay.
This is just me, like, ranting.
So.
I would, however, like to say that the last ReasonCon did not have tickets until Halloween, and it's likely
Now you're just telling all your secret business.
it may be around the same time this coming year.
Don't expose yourself.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe.
All right, well, that's good scoop because there's a lot of people I know that would be.
It's happening. It's going to be fabulous. It always is when Miss B is involved. She's very good at this sort of thing, so never fear.
And I'm taking a marketing class this semester, and it's a mini term, so I'm going to learn like everything I need to know for ReasonCon.
Did I say I was bringing whiskey?
Whiskey will be brought.
It's going to be good. Like
That
what
doesn't
the-
mean anybody else gets
What are
any.
you worried about?
Okay.
Demanda's going to be like, this
I'm
is
very
Demanda's
selective.
whiskey. Do not touch.
Like, this is good shit. Like, don't just randomly ask me for whiskey.
Okay.
I'll
have
make
to
you
read it.
labels.
Moving on. Can you? What are some of your favorite subjects that you've covered on the show? Can you give me some?
Yes. Let's see. I think the one that Miss B and I agree on that we enjoyed the most was the representation of women on Wikipedia.
Really?
Yeah, the Women in Red interview that we did with the organizers and founder of Women in Red Project on Wikipedia, that was awesome.
We were both just geeking out and super excited, and it was a lot of fun to do the interview, and I felt like it was very practical. Like, here's a representation of, here's exactly what our podcast is about, and here's something that you can do about it. So,
yeah,
it was good.
It was really nice, and it related to the rest of the episode quite well. I think Demanda probably enjoyed the segment on lube that I did quite a bit.
I just like the word osmolality.
Because the next time I did a segment, she took notes.
I really cheap lube because I spend all my money on whiskey.
Well, that's a problem. There's your problem.
There's a little chafing.
Alrighty then. What you said? Women in Wikipedia. What exactly was how they represented Wikipedia? What was the?
Okay, so women are underrepresented on Wikipedia as subjects of articles.
Okay.
When they started, only 14% of the biographies on Wikipedia were of women.
That's not totally surprising, considering most of the guys, mostly men, probably were editors, I would think.
Yeah, and by the time they were talking to us on the podcast, after they had started the Women in Red project, they had raised that from 14% to 16%. So they'd raised it by a whole 2 percentage points of all of Wikipedia being about women biographies. So that was really cool.
Did they say if they had a percentage of, as far as editors on Wikipedia, if what percentage are women and what percentage are men or whatever?
I don't think we talked about that, but that would be a very good question to ask them. But
I think there were fewer female editors. I think they did say that. But when they were advertising for the project, they, want both men and women to be writing. It doesn't matter. They just want to increase.
No matter your gender, sexual orientation, whatever, they said, come edit, please, we need help.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it sounded really fun. I was particularly excited about the Women Scientists project also, which was another Wikipedia editing project, which looks pretty cool.
Interesting. I need to go back and... I'll admit I haven't listened to every single one of your episodes.
What? We're done.
I know.
The end. I can't believe it.
I'm a horrible person, I know.
So you're not one of our 3 listeners?
Oh, whatever. Y'all have
Ken's is like a quarter of a listener now.
He's only a quarter listener.
I don't know. I've seen your Patreon. You're raking in the dollars.
Oh, yeah.
We're still catching up on hosting fees.
I think Miss B has spent all of that on, whatever audio you use, the music for the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that too. I haven't refunded myself for all of the audio of music that I buy for the podcast.
She's very selective.
Well, if we're going to use it more than once, I want it to be, not shit. So,
right.
Oh, you buy music? That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every now and then. Sometimes I'll use stuff from bensound.org or .com. I can't remember which one it is. But, you credit them for doing that. But for stuff that you've bought, you don't necessarily have to credit it because you've got the licensing for it. And if we're going to use it over and over and over again, like we do for our, main theme, or for sketches that we do frequently, like Princess Sparkle Farts, our mascot's adventures, or the Social Justice Warriors, which will probably return at some point, then we use music that I've bought so that we've got the rights to it to use it for,
Do you know my favorite character
so many listeners.
in one of the sketches to play was Lucy? When you were playing Susan, the ghost of Susan B. Anthony?
This was in a sketch called Van Helsing, Feminist Hunter.
I like that one.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Like
I had
great.
so much fun with that role. I got to play a demon, Susan B. Anthony's ghost.
But I think that's the sketch where they included the thing about the sandwich, and now they won't stop with the sandwich thing.
Oh yeah, because the guys were like, "Hooray, sandwiches!" And now they say that all the time. Yeah,
they just randomly, "Hooray, sandwiches!"
I will warn you: if you start listening to our show, you might want to start from the beginning, just for all the meta inside jokes that happen.
It doesn't really make sense.
It happens all the time. Like the next sketch that we're going to be doing, it has 4 inside jokes in it that only make sense if you listen to most of the shows.
The thing is, I just read it. I don't get them all.
Yeah, I know.
I really half the time don't know.
See, I have to
what's
listen to
happening
this
in
show
the
so
sketches.
many times that I know your entire intro for Feminism 101 by heart.
Murky, malcontented man-haters.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice alliteration. I like that. What
We have a lot of alliteration on this show.
Alliteration is my thing.
what,
I like it.
What is with the Princess Sparkle Farts unicorn mascot?
Okay, well, it kind
Do
of
you want-
started out as like...
I have a very serious answer to that question, but you go ahead.
Well, you do yours first, and then I'll
Okay.
talk about mine.
So, the reason I really enjoy the whimsy of Princess Sparkle Farts with relation to feminism is because I feel like if you're doing a feminist podcast, the expectation will be that it will be serious. It will tackle very, deep subjects. That wasn't a pun.
And that we're definitely going to be stuck up.
And we're going to be stuck up, a little bit angry. And I like the fact that I can tap into that whimsy and the humor and the, I don't give a fuck of the comedy of it all. And you have to accept that with my feminism. I'm a whole person, not you. You can't just perceive me as an angry feminist. Well, you can, but I
it's not the whole
also
picture.
enjoy farting unicorns. So
Yes.
there.
Yeah, we were kind of brainstorming the first time that I was talking about doing the show.
That
and
wasn't
we were,
brainstorming.
Okay, well, we were just talking about shit, and there was something
That was the
about,
same
like,
conversation where the podcast started.
Yeah, there was some talk about like a farting unicorn, and then the name Princess Sparkle Farts kind of came out of that, and that was originally going to be my name. And then it was going to be the podcast's name, and we were like, well, that doesn't really tell people what we're doing. But I really liked the idea of having a T-shirt like the one I'm currently wearing, which has...
that the listeners can't see, but there is
I'm wearing a Princess Sparkle
the
Fart
logo
T-shirt.
on her T-shirt.
Because I wanted to have something silly and ridiculous go with, like, the serious feminism aspect of it, so that we could go...
And funny feminists, aren't they unicorns? So there you go.
Yeah, I guess so. And, I wanted to kind of play on the stereotypes of, like, women have to be, like, so pretty and perfect like unicorns that don't exist because the perfect woman doesn't exist. But
And
also...
they don't fart.
And women don't fart. So, like, unicorn...
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's
So-
very, like, you just thought it was a flying fucking unicorn.
She
Little
actually-
did you know.
She actually connects. And so we kind of decided to make her our mascot. And then we came up with, like, PSF, Princess Sparkle Farts. PSF could also be promoting
You
secular
didn't
feminism.
get that one either. I see your face. Just amazed at all of this.
Yeah.
The machination.
There was a lot of thought that was going into all of this. So eventually it became like, now how are we going to incorporate her into the show if she's not, like, the show?
There
and
has
she's
to
not
be a
one of the
sketch.
hosts. So we came up with, like, the whole, like, comic book, like, superhero story of, like, a shape-shifting unicorn thing, which was all thanks to Mr. Haven being crazy creative and amazing.
Well, that's
And she inserts communicators into her meat pocket.
Yes, that's true.
I'm sorry. What? Meat pocket?
There are interdimensional communicators that, to hide that while she is interacting with humans, she inserts into her meat pocket.
Which is her name for a vagina. Because she's a shape-shifting unicorn and definitely not a human.
That's where the communicator goes.
So she doesn't know what it's called.
She doesn't know what it's used for.
So she's like, look at this convenient meat pocket. I can put my
Meat-
communicator in here.
Meat pocket. That's my new... Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we have a lot of euphemisms
That's
on this
my
show.
new
If you're
euphemism.
short of euphemisms for things like periods and penises and vaginas, we have lots of those in our sketches.
What was the muff something? What was that one? That was...
I don't know.
Okay. We'll have to...
We've had a
we'll
lot
make
of
list.
euphemistically heavy
Oh, dear.
sketches.
I'm still just trying to get past meat pocket. That's...
Meat pocket.
Oh, yeah, hot
Like
pocket.
a whole commercial for meat pockets.
It's just fucking hilarious. Okay, so what's up with the penis gallery? What we talk about this?
Not a lot. They're rather flaccid.
Well, okay, they were here, and it's made up of our husbands and our producer, who I mean, amazingly just happen to have this great studio because Atheist Avengers existed before we did.
No, that's not the name of that podcast anymore.
The podcast, which is not PSF, which comes out of the same studio as PSF,
That's the name of the podcast.
existed before we did. And so there was a lot of like...
Jake Farwhorton named them the
Equipment.
podcast that is not PSF.
Yeah. There's like this whole studio and equipment, and it's really nice. And our husbands just happened to be here, and
And the buttons glow.
they kept talking while we were trying to record our first episode, and so we were like,
In their
"Shut up,
usual sarcastic way.
Peanut Gallery," and they were like, "We can't help it. We're just trying to be helpful." And we were like, "Okay, well then
Shut
you
up,
be on the
Penis
show
Gallery."
then too." And we were like, "Penis Gallery, okay, well
So
that's
it was
a
an
thing now."
unplanned thing that happened in the first episode, and we
Yeah.
thought they
Like,
could just hang around.
Right as we were planning the first episode, they would not shut up, and we were like, "Just be on the podcast then." And they were like, "We don't want to be on the podcast." And we're like, "Then shut up." And so,
But now we have
eventually-
honorary members.
Yes, we do. Yeah, when people become
You're not sufficiently impressed by that pun.
honorary members.
Oh,
of the Penis
okay.
Gallery.
Okay.
We even have buttons. They say honorary member in quotation marks.
Yes.
They're big yellow buttons.
We appreciate a pun around here.
I see that.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, we do. But when people are patrons for, I think it's $5 or more per episode, then they become
How
an
is
honorary
this different than me
member.
plugging the website before?
Now
Now you're plugging our Patreon.
I was trying to explain that people can actually become honorary members.
Wait. It's not time yet. I was told go.
It's part of the story. To see you brought attention to it by doing that.
I'm hoping that we'll make enough on the Patreon where I
And
can
she's
give
already
people
talking about the merchandise.
buttons.
No, that was going to be my next question because you were talking
Because-
about swag or whatever.
There's swag.
Yeah, I'm wearing a T-shirt of it right now.
Farting unicorn
that
swag.
I really wanted to wear to Reason Rally, and then I was like, "Oh no, I'm wearing it in the bus on the way to Reason Rally. This was a terrible idea."
And by the way, most of the podcast happened because of t-shirt, like what would look good on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
A farting unicorn. I mean, wouldn't you want that?
It
And
was
the-
originally going to be kind of like PBS, where like it was just going to be like the silhouette of the head of a unicorn, but then it changed.
That sounds a little scary.
Yeah, the
Oh.
original logo was not. It was no good.
Now, Princess Sparkle Farts looks like Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, and
She has
got a little.
goggles and a scarf.
I like
She's got a
that.
little sparkling fart happening too.
Yes.
It's cute.
Well,
And a crown.
y'all had said something, put out a tweet about tweet back and register to win or some stuff. So I did tweet.
You didn't win.
I didn't
Don't
win.
worry.
I know.
Who won?
Actually, that reminds me. I was supposed to pick somebody's name out of a hat tonight,
Well, we'll have to do that
I'll have to
after
do
we
that.
interview then.
tomorrow.
Thank you for reminding us.
Yes.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad I could help.
So you might win. Hold on.
Yeah. Well, we'll let you know.
What kind of swag do you have available? Is it
Well,
just the t-shirts?
it's just stuff I've put together on Zazzle. So it's like we've got T-shirts that have like the intro to like the Princess Sparkle Farts.
You have to
sketch and,
understand. Like it may seem excessive. It's not, because it's an expression of Miss B's creativity. She's a very creative person. So she got herself on Zazzle
and made all the things.
and made all the things on Zazzle.
There are flasks, and there's a beer stein, and
Oh,
there are
a beer
buttons,
stein.
and
Mm-hmm.
stickers, and bumper stickers, and a keychain, and playing
Okay,
cards,
okay.
and
And she had the best time ever.
oh man, I'm just looking forward to making more stuff. It's great. I don't actually care if anybody buys it. I just want to
That
make
was
it.
totally, the point was she likes designing the things, all the things.
It's great. I just want the flask.
And now she goes around town. She has the stickers, and she goes around town
And leaves them places.
and leaves them everywhere.
Yeah.
We happened to be out to dinner, and she sticks them on the ketchup bottles.
Every now and then.
So they're farting unicorns all over town on ketchup bottles.
Yeah.
It's a random thing.
That's pretty
I also
cool.
left like ReasonCon postcards in like rest stops on the way back from
She's
Reason
quite
Rally.
evangelical about it all.
You should get some lube. Some PF
Yeah.
lube or something.
PSF lube.
I
You know,
really like
there
that.
should be PSF dildos. Like that should really be a thing.
You know, I would love to do things like that and the plushie of Princess Sparkle Farts, but the manufacturing aspect is what's really stopping me here.
Reality schmality.
But hey, like I said, I'm going to school for a master's in business administration. I'm not learning managerial accounting for nothing.
That's right.
I got this.
You're so ambitious.
Also, I can sew a little bit, so I might make plushies.
Plushies, okay.
That is not a guarantee.
He doesn't. He was more enthused by the beer stein. Like, you have to be aware of your audience if you're marketing. I think that's a thing.
How about
Isn't that a thing?
coasters? What coasters?
Coasters.
I don't think I have any yet. That's a really good idea.
Genius.
Yeah.
Since
I like it.
I'm sure everybody drinks who listens. They'd have to start drinking to listen to your show, I guess.
I know.
What?
What?
I mean, we're so linear and coherent.
They'd feel like they're missing out if they don't, like, join us with the whiskeying.
There's never a digression. I mean, we are on task. We have one of those things where they call like a run sheet or something.
A run sheet or something. Yeah, I've never used one. I've heard of them, but I've never used one of them.
I think they're a thing.
We definitely used one for the live show because that was crazy shit.
Oh yeah, we were on task.
When did y'all do a live show?
It was July 8th.
She wouldn't let me drink.
Really?
Such
Sometimes she
bullshit.
tells me what to do. It's a thing. She's the taskmaster.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, people.
I will not lie and say that I have not threatened to bring a whip into the studio
Uh-huh.
every now and then because people are not on task.
Now everyone's very interested.
Yes, I like that. A whip, okay. Okay.
There are visualizations occurring now.
No visualization. It's just
Thought bubbles.
you could integrate that into your sketches, perhaps. With the whip.
You want there to be whipping in the sketches?
Hey, there's everything else. Why the fuck not?
I'm going to suggest that for future
I would be
sketches.
the one that got whipped. I'm not really.
Make it
She happens to be a bit more of the dominatrix than I am, but I don't see myself in this submissive role though.
So it's okay to have a unicorn that turns into a human with a meat pocket, but whipping is just too fantastical for anything.
I don't really think Demand is into it, is what she's saying. It's not her kink.
It's just not my thing.
Okay, well, fair enough. There's plenty.
Instead of punishing her for doing things wrong, I should start reinforcing her for doing things right, because then she's more likely to do it that way in the future. Isn't that right, Demanda?
Huh?
See what I deal with.
What happened there?
I'm going to start bringing like chocolate in, and I'll be
there was
like,
something about my behavior.
"Good job, Demanda.
zoned
Have
out.
some chocolate."
Yeah, make sure it's like the 85% dark chocolate.
Dark
like that.
chocolate.
They don't make Hershey Kisses of that.
They
Oh dear.
don't make dark.
Do you know I recently had some chocolate with bacon in it? Like
Oh
bacon
my
chocolate.
God! No.
I
This-
did.
This
Bacon.
digression has been brought to you by promoting
And you
secular
know, I
feminism.
realize like bacon is a bit overdone these days. Like there's
bit?
bacon on top of chocolate
Jesus.
cupcakes and everything, but this was actually pretty good. I recommend it.
Was that?
I think I got it from Trader Joe's.
Oh, okay.
It's ridiculous with the bacon. It's insane. I'm sorry. It's
No, okay, no.
yeah.
I'm not getting over the bacon. No.
They had
And
Burger King. I think it was Burger King had a bacon sundae or some shit like that.
I'll die on the heel of bacon, okay? Last week I found a duck bacon, by the way. That oh my goodness, duck bacon is the shit, by the way. And I had it on my
Legitimately, that
turkey
does sound
burger.
good.
Duck bacon on a turkey burger.
Wait,
It was
duck
intense.
bacon? I guess you
Yes.
could make it with anything.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That would be really good in a turkey burger because turkey
now
burgers
all
fall
the
apart because
real-
they're so low fat.
All the real diehard bacon fans, I just lost them right there with the duck bacon. So
They're the Duck Dynasty fans, baby.
this is what happens. I get really passionate about things, and then I get ostracized from the groups
No,
associated with
not
such
bacon.
passionate things.
Bacon, you're good. You're pretty firm on. But I mean, things are good.
At
with
least it wasn't like a Doctor Who reference. In which case,
I'm not
we
the
would
one that
lose
makes those
all
every
the
podcast.
listeners everywhere.
No, like you have a whole Who crew following you, I think.
I have a Who crew.
You have a Who crew.
Shit, that's awesome.
I never even got into Doctor Who. I have to be honest.
I'm gonna-
Why are we here?
I don't know. That's good. Now let me get in the TARDIS.
That's a deep question, Amanda. Let's discuss.
Let's ponder our existence at this very moment.
I was always more of a Trekkie than a what are they, Whovian is what they're called.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I only watched Doctor Who for the David Tennant span of Doctor Who. So I didn't make it before or after that, but
that is acceptable.
that was enjoyable. And Miss B introduced Doctor Who to me and told me which episodes to watch when. She has a strategy for engaging one in Doctor Who if you're interested. But yeah, I'm a Trekkie myself. I sort of play Star Trek in the evening because it like reduces my anxiety to hear like the music at the very beginning.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's a
my
good right
comfort
before
zone.
bed show.
You just hit
You're like,
I have those on DVD.
I'm
like I
home
know they
now.
happen to be on Netflix now, but
Yeah.
no, I just play my DVD and the music starts.
the remastered original series is quite nice.
Yeah, see, this is also why I'm ostracized from Trekkie fandom or whatever it's called. I watched all of Star Trek like over and over again for years, except for the original series. Like I haven't watched that.
I'm
Just
sorry.
The Next Generation forward.
I'm sorry. What'd you just say? I didn't hear.
So I haven't watched the original series, just the Next Generation forward.
You haven't watched any of it?
That's
No.
a flaw in your. You need to go ahead and remedy because
See,
I'm not-
This is what happens, like with the Duck Bacon and the original series. Like
you got it.
I'm not saying this because I think that you just have to watch something for the sake of watching it. I'm saying
What?
this for the sake of the cultural importance of the original series of Star Trek. I'm not joking when I say that
oh piss, William Shatner.
at
Whatever.
least watch the episode that had the first interracial kiss on television. Because
yeah, well,
the story behind
I
it
like how
about
you're
how he
pitching
had to
this.
screw up every single take of it so that they had to use the take
I'm
with
aware
the
of the
kiss.
story. Like I'm not culturally stupid.
But just that episode is worth it.
I like how you're pitching it as its culture. That's good.
It is.
It is
That's
culture.
Like half the reason I watch anything or start anything is just because I go, I don't want to miss out on this culturally important moment.
Well, it was the 60s. Of course, all that stuff was going on, so it's going to be anything in that era.
And I missed the whole decade.
Well, yeah.
What?
I wasn't there. I got to catch up.
Oh my goodness! Really, with the young thing again?
You weren't alive during the 60s either.
Neither was
I feel like I was alive in the '60s, but no, I wasn't.
unfortunately. So, ladies, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
This was a thing. It was what we were doing.
Yes, we were
Oh.
on a thing.
We were
That's called a
interviewing?
podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I should have focused some of that.
That's why we have microphones.
It's been fascinating and hilarious.
I thought we were just visiting.
See, that's the whole thing. That's why I love y'all's show, though, to be honest. Because it's just like you're visiting, sort of, you know?
We're just visiting,
Pull up your cup of coffee or whiskey or both.
Whiskey.
telling you all about your business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, why don't you tell everybody where they can get a hold of your show?
Oh, I've got this. Is it time now?
It's time. Yeah, it's time.
Okay, so check out PSF at promotingsecularfeminism.com. We're on Facebook.com/promotingsecularfeminism and on Twitter at secularfeminism. You can also download our podcast at all the podcasty places like Stitcher and what are the other ones, Miss B?
A lot of places. We also have an app on the Google Play Store now.
Oh, we have an app.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's new.
I downloaded that and rated it as requested.
Yay,
Did
thank
you? Oh, that's very kind. Thank you.
We've already had one troll rate it 1 star for no reason given.
That's
really?
Yeah, that's why she
I was
wanted
so
me to-
sad.
She
I
wanted
was
me
like, please go rate it against
See, this
this
is another
terrible
thing.
troll.
Like, I really wasn't aware we had an app until right now. But Miss B creates things.
I create things and then go, look at all the stuff I
This
did.
is great. And so it's really going to hurt her feelings if you give it 1 star. I'm just putting that out there in the universe so you get no more 1 stars.
At least give a reason if you do 1 star.
I mean,
Like,
it's an
feminism
expression
is
of her
dumb,
creativity.
then,
So
then I'll be like, oh,
Respect
okay,
that.
you had a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, this is super shitty to do that. At least have a
Yeah.
reason. I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's like people reviewing movies before they're out and going, this is dumb, I hate this. And I'm like, oh, Guys, you haven't even seen the movie yet. How do you know?
You've only showed me like one negative comment from the website that we had. I've only seen one.
Oh, yeah. We read our hate mail on
yeah, we
the
did.
show.
We did that.
Okay.
And I obsessed about it for a little while, so she didn't show me anymore.
It's probably better. Because you should never look at negative comments. It can be
It was
quite
a hate mail.
hate mail. Well, I don't know. Hate mail can be fun. It depends.
Yeah, that's true. It's always fun to make fun of it.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right. And y'all are bi-weekly, or is it? No, it's bi-monthly. I'm sorry, not bi-weekly.
No, I think it is bi-weekly.
No,
No.
Oh, that would be twice a week.
right.
Yeah.
Just bi-monthly.
Okay.
Y'all. And y'all's next show then would be, what do y'all, do you have a set day? What day is it?
Our next show will be out
Not Tuesdays, apparently.
the 21st or 22nd, depending on how soon I get it edited.
I keep advocating
which is like
for Tuesdays. but
24 or 48 hours from now, which is not much time for me to get that done.
By sheer force of will, I always say at the end, see you next Tuesday, but
It's never Tuesday.
it's never Tuesday.
Unless you're listening to it on Tuesdays, in which case, good for you.
Awesome. Well, it was great to have you on. I appreciate y'all taking the time out to visit with me. Because
Absolutely. Thank you for having us on.
No problem. And I hope I hope to see y'all at ReasonCon and maybe have y'all on again some other time. And of course, I shall be listening to your show and hearing.
You have back episodes to
Yes,
catch up
I need
on.
to catch
Yes,
up.
that's true.
I need to catch.
I'm emailing you a list.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, y'all. Well, take care of yourselves. Okay.
All righty.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye. That's going to do it for this episode of the Podunk Polymath Podcast. Make sure to check me out at thepodunkpolymath.com. Of course, you can check me out on Stitcher, iTunes. I'm on Twitter at Podunk Polymath. You can call the call-in number 615-378-POPO. That's 378-7676. Of course, I am now on Patreon at patreon.com/thepodunkpolymath. And I have got everything on the side of the page at thepodunkpolymath.com. I have all the little buttons you can go to stuff on there now. Or you can also send an email at podunk.polymath@gmail.com. So if you want to... Oh, and there's a donut button. I forgot about the donate button's also there. So you can donate, one-time donation, or you can be a patron for as little as $1 at patreon.com/thepodunkpolymath. And I want to thank everybody for hanging in with me on the second episode. I'm still trying to get kinks worked out here, so bear with me. So please tune in next time. Tell all your friends. Tell them how wonderful this show is and how you look forward to it every week. So y'all take it easy, okay?